what do you mean ghost stories on Christmas?
Oh, it does say that,
Yeah.
actually.
And he sees two figures outside his window.
By whipping them, eating them, or dragging them to hell.
Yep. Hit you with her foot and it's
Depending on your behavior.
a dark specter looming towards them.
Up in his underwear, which I can't unsee.
It's like he blinked over somehow, like supernatural.
Big feelings. People have big feelings.
Randy and I are going
Tell
to hang
you
out with Krampus.
Happy
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
God bless
Merry
us,
Christmas.
everyone.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Christmas special. Again, actually, we've been doing Christmas all week, all month. And if you didn't join us last week's show, go check it out. We were talking about Christmas traditions and movies and whatnot. But today, we're here talking about Christmas ghost stories. Do you guys ever do Christmas ghost stories? Is that something you guys did growing up?
No.
No.
No,
Me
but I'm
neither.
always down for a good ghost story.
But so it turns out it's a big thing in like Victorian England times. Like they told Christmas ghost stories. And
Well,
that one
Charles Dickens.
song, yeah, Charles, but like
Yeah.
actual like more scarier. So there's that one song where it's the most wonderful time of the year. In the lyrics, it's like there'll be ghost stories or something like, and I always wondered, what do you mean ghost stories on Christmas?
Oh, it does say that, actually. I
And
never
Christmas
thought
is of
about
long,
that.
long ago or something like that, it says. So I was like,
Yeah.
interesting. And it's because, they told ghost stories. And people will talk about how like their grandmas on Christmas or Eve would tuck them into bed and tell them scary stories and then say good night.
Why? What is there about Christmas that makes people want to scare each other? I don't know. I don't get that.
know. But I like it. I like it a lot.
Scare the children into
There
being
is-
good, maybe.
I guess.
You
Go
know,
to
that's what it
bed.
was. Like, you have to be good or like the monsters will come and get you for Christmas.
Be good for goodness sake.
So there is a very popular author. He is what people known as the Shakespeare of Christmas ghost stories. M.R. James is his name. And he would write, or he wrote Christmas ghost stories to tell to all his friends who would come over for Christmas. And it became very popular. And now I think the BBC, they made like short movies out of, they're like 30 minutes long because they're short stories he would tell. And everyone like watches it religiously, I guess, in England. And I think it's on Amazon. If you go look up his short stories on Amazon, people love his. So I'm going to tell you a quick story of one of his. It's Cliff Notes because I didn't really read the whole story. I did, but it was like
school.
it was what do you call it when you not sight read or just like quickly read? Skim. I was skimming it.
Skim.
This was his second story he ever wrote to tell at his Christmas parties. And it's about an orphan boy named Stephen Elliott. And Stephen Elliott had to go live with his grumpy old cousin, Mr. Abner. And Mr. Abney, was it Abner or Abney? We'll just say it's Abney, Mr. Abney. And Mr. Abney, like all his neighbors were like, it's just so strange. He's such a grumpy old man. Why is he taking in this young child? But he did. And Stephen Elliott went there and Mr. Abney was like, oh, welcome, young boy. And how old are you? And he kept asking him how old he was. And he said, I'll be 12, sir. And he said, 12, are you sure? Like, when will you be 12? And he said, well, on the 11th of September, which is weird in itself to me. So I was reading that. And he's like, and you're sure you're going to be 12? And he said, yes. And so, he's living there and he meets Mrs. Bunch. Mrs. Bunch is like the housekeeper or someone, assistant. She's been there for 20 years. And she was saying how Mr. Abney is just such a gem. He's just so sweet. He takes in homeless children all the time. And there is this one little girl many years ago before she started. She was like a gypsy child that he took in. And she was just so lovely. But just as a gypsy is, she disappeared one day. She just ran off and disappeared. And there was another boy, and she said, poor soul, he was always so hungry. And they brought him in, and he ate and ate and ate. And then again one day too, he must have had his fill, and he just decided to leave. And so Stephen Elliott was like, okay, interesting. Anyways, throughout the months that he was there, he would have creepy things happen. In his bedroom, he would hear shrieking, and they always told him to lock your doors, and close your windows because we don't want the spirits taking you. And so he was like, I always do. I always close my doors and lock the windows, or lock the doors and close the windows. And in the mornings, there would be scratch marks on his door, and um, his nightgown hems would be scratched up. And Mrs. Bunch is like, what are you doing, child, in the middle of the night that there's just scratches everywhere? He's like, nothing, I swear, I'm not doing anything. So anyway, months pass, and Mr. Abney says to Stephen Elliott, come meet me in my study at 11 p.m. and on this day. And he's like, okay, I'll do that. So
A little
Stephen
late,
was
don't you think?
it's very late. But Stephen was, waiting for the time, and he was excited. Like, what does he have for me in this study? Is it a gift or whatever? But he also, there's, you know what? I forgot to quickly skim back. He had a nightmare one night where there's a locked room that he's not allowed to go into. And in his dream, he went into the locked room, and there's a bathtub, and there was a body in the bathtub. And he woke up, and he was telling Mrs. Bunch about that. And she's like, insane. I'm going to put a carpet or curtain over the door. You don't have to worry about it. So anyways, he's waiting for the time, and he's hearing the shrieking all over again. He's like, oh, it's getting late. It's looking out the window, and he sees two figures outside his window. And it's a little girl, and she's holding her heart, and she's waving at him. And then next to her is a little boy with very long nails and very gaunt looking. And he's like, huh, strange. And they just waved at him and ran off. So anyways, he goes and he knocks on the study at 11 p.m. Mr. Abney, Mr. Abney. No answer. So he walks in, and there's a sofa, Mr. Abney sitting there, but you can't see him. It's like he's got the fireplace and you don't see him, but he sees on his desk all these paperwork, and he looks at the paper, and it's like studies, and it's talking about how spirits of children keep you young. And if you do something at a certain age, before they reach a certain age, you have to excavate. I think that's the word they use, excavate their hearts and preserve it. But you need three children's hearts. And you have to space it out so you don't get caught. You have to space out the time. So he's been doing this for a very long time. And so Stephen was supposed to be the last victim. But when he went to go see the sofa, Mr. Abney was in a sofa, clutching his heart and just unalived. And so people said, he must have died of fright or something happened to him. But Stephen Elliott said, I know what happened. He had his own theories. Anyways, that's the story. Go watch it on Amazon.
That's the end?
That's the end. People, go watch it on Amazon or look it up. You can look up. It's called Lost Hearts, was the second story he ever wrote. It's supposed to be the most popular one. So you can read the short story. That's just my Cliff Notes. And now let's
What
go
happened to
some
Stephen
real-
Elliott?
Stephen Elliott,
Did he
who
hear at the
knows?
house?
No clue. It's like those Twilight Zone movies. Sometimes there's no clear ending, and you have to make up your own ending.
I have to work. Okay, fine.
Or watch it on Amazon or the BBC network. I think the History Channel might have it too. So
I mean, it's
let's
creepy,
move on to
but
some
I know
real
that
ghost stories.
I know Randy and I were
Oh.
thinking, okay, there's a man asking you into his study at 11 o'clock at night. We were not
That's
thinking
your-
ghost stories.
That's your
We're
first
thinking
red
child
flag.
abuse. Like
11 p.m. in somebody's study.
Now this is the 1800s.
well, what?
Yeah, you're 12 years old. I know it sounds weird. It sounds creepy.
I
But
mean,
he
I'm just
needed
like
the
sexual
hearts
predator
of
the
the
whole
young
time.
children to stay young. He needed their hearts to stay
So
young.
what
I mean,
happened
that's
to
what I
him?
do.
He
I
didn't get
can't.
them in time? Like he didn't get the hearts in time and so he
No.
died? Or what happened?
I'm
The
guessing,
other two went and got him.
the other two spirits went. And in his
That's
notes,
what
he
I'm
says,
like.
I do not care about the hauntings of the spirits. They do not scare this old Abney. But they got him.
Well,
He
whoever made up this
underestimated.
whole thing where you needed the three hearts of children obviously didn't count on retribution from the spirits. Like who's not
They're
going to be
pissed
mad
off.
about that and want revenge? I would.
Yeah. So that's from Mr.
mean-
M.R. James. That's his second story he ever wrote to tell his friends at Christmas.
Mr. James, I have questions.
Yeah, I have questions too. What happened to Mrs. Doohickey or whatever her name is? Like, what was
Mrs.
she in on
Bunch?
it? There we go. Mrs.
No, I don't think they knew anything. So,
I think she was in on it.
yeah.
I have a funny.
No.
It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. Are you ready?
Tell it.
Like a funny Christmas story?
It's so not funny. It's funny. I'll read it. I'll let you just have
Okay.
your own.
Okay.
Okay. So first of
Okay.
all, this is the origin. This is a very short one, and the origin is Eastern Alpine Europe, which sounds like a very Christmassy locale, particularly Germany and Austria. Okay. So this story hails from there, and I hope I'm saying this word right. Krampus, Krampus.
Krampus.
Who's-
Yeah.
Krampus, because I just want to say Krampus, whose name derives from the German word Krampen, meaning claw,
Mhm.
is a half goat, half man monster hailing from the Eastern Alpine region of Europe.
Mhm.
Krampus is rumored to punish children who have been naughty on the evening of December 5th, also known as Krampusnik, by whipping them, eating them, or dragging them to hell.
Yep.
His benevolent counterpart, St. Nicholas, will then gift children who have been good the following day, known as the Feast of St. Nicholas. And so celebrations involving the two began in pre-Christian times as far back as the 6th century. Today, many European towns host Krampuslauf, or the Krampus Run, events where men dress as Krampus and run amok, causing chaos.
Yep, I've seen
every
it.
other day.
Yeah.
People
that's true.
also send holiday cards featuring Krampus. So that's my little
Yeah, there's
history
Krampus
Yeah, I love him.
movies,
I-
I think.
world history
Yeah, there's
lesson.
a movie. There's a movie. There's like those festivals I've seen every year.
You've
It's really
seen
cool.
that?
There's like fire and they walk around at night. I've seen videos of them. I haven't actually been to one, but I've seen them online. It's really cool because, it's right up our street, right? Like we'd love him. Like,
So I
don't
feel
hang out
like
with him all night.
the United States customs around Christmas are a little boring compared to like parades with fire and
Right.
threatening
Ghost
to eat
stories
children.
and fire.
Right. Well, it's funny. My sister and I were talking about Elf on a Shelf and how it's like so scary in a sense because they tell I guess one of the rules is you can't touch the elf. Because if you touch the elf, then you get
What
zero presents and you're just like so naughty or something. And children cry because sometimes like younger siblings touch the elf or something. And it's just so traumatizing. So it's like you got to come up with these traumatizing characters, like ghost stories,
Yeah.
traumatizing characters.
I mean, the Germans, my people, my half people, we're famous for scaring children. Like, this is how we get them to behave, right? We invented kindergarten so we could get them out of
Hansel
the
and
house
Gretel,
and in
right?
school and out of the way. And, Hansel and Gretel and Krampus and all this kind of stuff. Like, you're going to the forest and the devil's going to eat you. So, like, behave. This is my people. So this is not surprise. This doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah, bring it on. This is how we grow up strong.
Fearless. I have
You
another.
can't scare me. I've been in the forest with fucking spirits. Like, come at me, bro.
I have another story from Alpine Austria and Germany, but
Yes.
I'm gonna let Vicki
Bring
do hers first, and then we'll circle back because it's
No.
mine's funny too.
Stay in Austria.
Do you want me
Mine's
to
in
go
the
ahead?
UK. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Stay in Austria. Stay in
Yeah,
Austria.
stay there.
Okay. Okay, so how do you pronounce the word Frau? Fro?
Frau.
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 Frau, it's like Mrs. It's like Mrs.
Okay. Perchta. Perchta? Perchta?
P-E-R what?
Chta. Perchta?
Perchta? Probably. Perchta?
Frau Perchta. That's what we're going to go with.
Okay.
Also known as Berchta and other variations, is a goddess from Alpine paganism in the early Middle Ages. She's associated with Birkentag, the Feast of the Epiphany, which takes place on the 12th night after Christmas on January 6th. Her name means bright one because, depending on your behavior, she could either appear as a bright youthful woman or a scary older witch with a long beaked nose, one large foot, tattered clothes, and a knife under her skirt. Perchta is known to torment
She
people.
have one large foot. Sorry. Okay.
I like a knife under her skirt. I'm going to start doing that myself.
Kick you with her foot and it's
Depending on your behavior. Depends on what you get that's under my skirt. Okay.
Okay, so okay.
Perchta.
How do you stay away from her?
Okay, so
Just keep going.
Perchta is known to torment people who didn't properly celebrate the 12 days of Christmas. If you spun yarn on a holiday or didn't feast properly, Perchta was said to come to your house while you slept. I guess use the knife from under her skirt to slit your belly, rip out your guts, and replace them with straw and pebbles.
Well,
what I mean, it's horrible, but it's funny.
yes. So Perchta, somebody
like
did
her.
throw
I
out
like her.
my tree, but I did decorate with my decorations. So I am celebrating the 12 days
And
of
I've got
Christmas.
these.
Do not come for me. The foot alone would scare me. I have this thing about
Vicki
feet.
says I have questions. Why is it under her skirt?
I don't know. But I want to start doing that. Like, depending on your behavior, what you get under my skirt, it might be a knife.
Like the first Lorena Bobbitt.
Oh gosh.
I'm gonna throw up.
Oh gosh.
Oh, Berchta, Frau Berchta.
She's my favorite.
You better celebrate the shit out of Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, these fucked up scary characters for Christmas.
Weird.
Like scaring you into enjoying Christmas. You better celebrate.
She doesn't kill you. She guts you and then stuffs you.
Straw
like
and pebbles.
Scarecrow.
She
Straw and
replaces your
pebbles.
guts with straw and pebbles.
Where did she get the straw and pebbles from? Were they
Under
under
her skirt.
too?
Under her skirt.
Skirt.
Oh God.
Frau Perchta.
Oh God. I don't want to read mine now. These are too good. Like, mine's so stupid compared to that. Oh, thank you, Eastern Europe. Do we have any more? Please say yes.
No, that's it.
Oh,
I mean, I'm sure if we look up, there's got to be more scary characters that Germans and Eastern Europeans came up with to scare children.
I mean, I have one story about little gnomes that got angry because the butter wasn't on top of the porridge and he killed the cow. But that's not as exciting.
It's the cow's fault. And
then when he found out the butter was on the bottom of the porridge, he felt guilty, so he stole the neighbor's cow to replace the cow he killed. But I didn't think that was worthy for the show.
Gnomes are tricky.
Those tricky damn. And then they have a conscience. It's nice.
Yeah, they could be. We were walking in the Black Forest, my mom and I, and I swear to God, she saw a squirrel, but she's freaked out and claimed she saw a gnome, and she sent me down the off the path and down this slope. She's like, Vicki, I saw a gnome. Go get the gnome. I'm like, you crazy lady! Like, what is
you can't catch them?
Obviously,
Listen,
right?
we know Vicky's mom likes to make Vicky go for the ghost or go first for
Like,
everything.
if you watch this show, you know
Sacrifice the child.
behavior for her. She wanted that gnome.
Well, you can't catch them. Aren't they like spirits, or are they physical?
They're fast and tricky, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just exactly, fast and tricky. So okay.
All right, Vicki.
What's next?
Tell us a haunting or a story or more creepy characters.
Oh God. Okay. This one's called Scared Stiff, which is what Reggie means.
I have a very flaccid thing that's holding my phone up right now, and it keeps. Aww. We've been making inappropriate jokes about that.
Okay.
I'm sweating.
I'm crying. Like my makeup is completely gone on my eyeballs. Okay.
Yes, I need a stiff story. Let's go.
Okay. Scared Stiff, 50 Berkeley Square. Okay, I've been here too. And yeah. Do you have pictures, Rachel? Well, Rachel may or may not insert pictures later, but okay.
Yeah,
the Tower of London has been described as the most haunted building in London. Been there too. Have you guys been to the Tower of London?
I haven't been to London.
There's a church on the grounds that I think is creepier than the Tower of London. But side note. Okay, focus, Vicki, focus. Okay, focus. But what about the capital's most haunted house? For many years, that macabre accolade belonged to 50 Berkeley Square, an imposing Georgian townhouse in upmarket Mayfair. In the 18th and 19th centuries, the Grand Gaff, I don't know what that means. What does gaff mean? The Grand Gaff was linked to, I guess, house? Was linked to mysterious deaths. Gaff. Never heard that before. British people tell me. The Grand Gaff was linked to mysterious deaths, with residents and guests at the house apparently seeing ghosts and then being found dead, mouths and eyes agape with frozen terror. One such encounter with the killer ghost occurred in 1887. It was Christmas Eve, and two sailors, London and Martin, were on leave in London. They trawled the gloomy, foggy streets that cold evening looking for lodgings, and they happened upon 50 Berkeley Square and were pleased to find a room there for the night. The murderous haunted house had previously claimed a victim in the room in which they stayed. London felt uneasy in the darkness and couldn't sleep. In the middle of the night, he frantically woke up Martin in time to see a dark specter looming towards them. London went for a weapon, and the apparition darted towards him. Meanwhile, bleary-eyed Martin, drunk probably, escaped to the street and found a bobby on the beat. Stop laughing. Like,
what does that mean? Found a bobby on the beat.
A policeman on patrol. I know that one. So he found a bobby on the beat. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
A policeman on patrol, basically. Okay.
Thank you. I didn't know.
Returned to the house with the cop, and to their horror, they saw London at the bottom of the stairs, dead. His neck was broken, and his eyes and mouth were wide open as though he had died from fear. Which he obviously broke his neck, so I don't know how that works. But anyway, that's the end of the story.
Well, he died. He fell from fear and broke his neck, obviously.
And as he broke his neck, I guess he still had that look on his face.
Well, he was so scared.
First of all,
so you've been here. You've been there, you said.
I've been there. And it's an upmarket Mayfair. And back in 1887, it's where all the rich people lived. So two drunk sailors on leave are not going to find a house to go stay in an upmarket Mayfair. First of all, they would not be allowed in there. Second of all, both obviously drunk. Third of all, why would you leave your friend with the inspector and go get a cop and come back? Like, wouldn't you both leave? Like, why did he stay? I don't know. What?
Drunk.
Why?
Like bleary-eyed. Yeah. I'm going to start using that term. It sounds so much nicer than like wrecked. Blackout Betty.
So, quick interjection here.
I'm bleary-eyed.
Gaff, when I looked it up, is a spear with a hook. But I had to do some more digging. Cambridge Dictionary says it's a home. It's a house.
Okay. All right. I mean, from context, I guess that, but
figured, yeah.
I never heard that one before. I'm more interested in that word than the story. But that was my story. I just picked it because I'd been there.
And you have
so no, okay, cautionary tale. If you're drunk and in bed and you see a black specter coming towards you, stay away from the stairs. if she's got a knife under her skirt, you're in trouble.
Wait, Vicki, I want to
Okay,
know,
I'm
did you
sorry,
go to
you can stop
Berkeley?
now.
Is it called, it's Berkeley Square, you said?
Berkeley Square, yes.
And you went, did
I
you go
sent
with
you
your mom?
pictures. That time I went with my
Yeah.
brother.
I was gonna say, did your mom push you into the spectrum?
My mom was home drunk, dealing with the specter, and I know. No, we were walking around. We stayed in Mayfair, and we were walking around, and I had, gone through my Mr. Darcy phase and had read like all the novels of the time. And a lot of times they talk about Berkeley Square, and I was like, oh, it's BBC come to life. And so we went walking one, and it was at night, and I Twilight actually, and I've got pictures. I don't know if we'll ever see it or not, but it was kind of like creepy time. And so I took all these pictures of like statues in the park, and it
I'll
is
put
kind of
them up.
eerie.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Here.
kind of bing. Yeah, it is kind of eerie. So I took pictures of it, not even realizing that. I mean, it does have that, but I mean, all of London at Twilight has that feel. Well, not all of it, but most of it has that creepy Dickensian feeling of Jack the Ripper.
Growling.
What?
Okay, I just heard my dog growl. I was like, that's so loud. I don't know if you guys
Have
can
you guys
hear
ever
that.
had, speaking of scary things, not on Christmas, but my dog once like barked at something where there was nothing there, like at a wall, and scared the crap out of me.
Yes,
Does your
they see
dog ever do that
spirits.
where you like, they see spirits and it's scary?
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about that on our Halloween scary stories. Didn't we talk
Oh,
about
we
the ghost?
did. We did. I think we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, Yampa
Yeah.
saw spirits, girls saw spirits, our dog, cat saw spirits. It's creepy when they just
Speaking
Deuce
of
stare
which,
can't
off.
see anything. He can't
a
even
good
see
name
anything in
for
front of his face. So
Poor
he's
Deuce.
going blind. I think he has like cataracts. He like runs into branches. He's not seeing anything.
Krampus
Okay.
would be a good
What-
cat name.
Krampus?
I think, isn't
Might
there a
have to name-
famous cat named Krampus, actually? I feel like there is.
Is there?
Perchta too.
That was a good name then. Might have to
Or
look that
maybe
up too.
Grumpus. It might be Grumpus. Okay.
Okay, like, Rachel, you go.
I'm going to read this story. It's a real story, a true story.
Okay.
And it happened on Christmas. You guys are thinking I'm going to do the serial killer thing.
Is this the
It's
murder
not.
one?
It's
No,
No,
okay.
it's not the murder.
All I
It's
know
not.
is I'm already invested because the dramatic pauses are sucking me in right now.
I got this from my favorite Reddit. I'm going to read you guys this girl's Reddit story. Okay. It's called My Scary Christmas Story. This story takes place 4 years ago, and it is still haunting me till this day. It was Christmas night, and my family were driving home from this fancy restaurant. I, unlike my family, wasn't tired, so the 45-minute drive seemed perpetual. On top of that, my little sister was constantly moaning about her friends, or how her friends didn't get her anything for Christmas. After about 20 minutes of driving, my dad stopped at a gas station to get some cigarettes, and my sister, brother, and mother all got out to pee. I stayed in the car as I had already gone before we left. Once they all left, I decided to play a few games on my phone. I looked at the car clock and saw that 10 minutes had passed, so I immediately wondered what was taking them so long. As soon as I peered out the car window, I saw a man staring at our car. The man startled me as I didn't know how long he had been watching. What made it even more unnerving is that he had a plain blank face. No expression was shown. It was hard to make out any features as it was pretty dark. And he was standing in an illuminated part of the station. He was about 5'9", very, very descriptive here. 5'9", and looked to be middle-aged. Once he saw me notice him, he started walking towards the car, and I had been lying to you if I said I wasn't scared. Luckily, my dad came back with the rest of the family just as the man took a couple steps. My dad apologized and told me I'd been in an argument with the cashier. I didn't care. I was just glad that my dad was with me. I took another glance at the man outside, and he was still staring, but this time he had an annoyed look on his face. We drove off, and for the rest of the car ride, I couldn't stop thinking about that man. This wouldn't have been too bad if it had ended there, but it didn't. Later that night, I was watching YouTube while everyone else slept. And luckily for me, a storm was raging over us. I enjoy storms. It makes me cozy as I'm laying in bed. I put my phone down and just enjoyed the ambiance. That didn't last for long, as I heard something smash into the window behind me. I lurched forward and nearly fell out of bed. I thought a bird had smashed into the window. I parted the blinds, and what I saw next haunted me. I saw a man standing out by my parents' car, looking up at my room. I took a closer look and I nearly had a heart attack. It was the same man that I saw at the gas station. Only this time, when our eyes met, he grinned. Being the 14-year-old I was, I did the manly thing and screamed at the top of my lungs. My dad came running down the stairs and entered my room. Why the fuck are you screaming? Sorry. That's such a dad thing. He said, I told him about the man and I explained everything that happened. My dad grabbed a baseball bat and told me to call the police. After about 10 minutes, the police turned up outside our house and found the man in our shed. He got arrested, and that was the last time I saw him. The next day, my dad inspected the house, and we found the handle of the back door had been damaged, but not completely broken. This gives me the eerie feeling that if he had actually managed to get in, he would have harmed us or possibly killed us. True story. So, there's a lot of crazies on Christmas. I'm just telling you. Like everybody listening, watching, look it up. That sounded weird. Look it up. That's,
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Rangy, was it just me? I was waiting. I thought it was going to be a ghost story. I thought the old man was going to be a ghost, but he's just a creepy
Me too.
predator.
But no, and
Okay.
I
A real
thought it was like an imagination, but the police literally found you hiding in the shed.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Right.
He's a real
that's
person.
extra terrifying.
But
Right,
that's
that was
what's
just like-
scary. The real people that are creepy and do weird stuff on Christmas. Because I'm telling you guys, originally I told these ladies, let's do stuff on Christmas massacres and serial
That's
killers.
true.
Because there is so many real life scary situations. On
Yeah.
Rachel
Christmas.
sent us these examples, and they were so gory and so gruesome that Vicki and I were like, "We
Nope.
can't, we can't do it."
We read
It's
like
so
a couple
scary.
stories and we're like, okay, I'm already having nightmares. This is not happening.
Yeah. So people, look it up.
They're
Look up
awful.
Ronald
They're
Gene
really bad.
Simmons. Look up Ronald Gene Simmons. Look up I don't remember any of it. Ronald Gene Simmons sticks out to me because he scares me.
Yeah,
He's
if
gone. He's
you're-
not with this world anymore. So
You know, your
Good.
story
Well, if you're-
reminds me of something that happened to me when I was in high school. I was in the bathroom at my grandparents' house because I lived with them part-time, and I was washing my face, getting ready for bed, and I heard something outside the bathroom window, and I looked over and I see these fingers slide under, like they had pulled the window up a little bit, just enough to get their fingers under, and I saw these like fingers slide under the bathroom window and start lifting it. And it was night. My grandparents were already in bed, and I screamed and like ran into my grandfather's room. I was like, "Grandpa, there's somebody up on the deck trying to get in," and he jumped up in his underwear, which I can't unsee. That was the most traumatizing
scary.
part of it.
That's the scary part.
And he opened his bedroom window, which also led out to the deck, and there was a guy out there. And then later that next morning we went out, and on our back steps there were a bunch of like cigarette butts, like that man had just been sitting there chain smoking for God only knows how long on our back steps. Just, I mean, who
Oh my
knows who he
God,
was, if he had followed me home, or what he would have
No,
done if he
that's-
got in. Nobody caught him, but
that's
No one caught him. He never
scary.
came back.
no. We
Oh,
called the
wow,
police,
that's-
but he was long gone by the time.
Yeah.
No,
We're back there.
the reason I chose this story when I read it is because college, Christmas break, back at home, after celebrating with family, I was going to go meet my friends, and I had to stop at a gas station to get some gas on my way to see them. And creepy guy standing in the corner of the gas station kept staring at me, and I don't know how it happened because it was so fast. Like he just like, it's like he blinked over somehow, like supernatural. But he was like right behind me. I got gas all over us. And then the gas attendant came running out and screaming. The guy ran off. But
Oh,
I was like,
wow.
Merry Christmas.
So what is it about Christmas that makes
I don't know.
that makes people go a little?
So
Insane.
everyone, just be
Yeah.
careful at gas stations on Christmas, ladies especially. Okay, let's
Or
just be
anywhere.
careful at gas
Yeah.
stations.
In general.
Yeah, no, it's I think the holidays just brings out like a lot of feelings in people.
Mhm.
Big
So,
feelings. People have big
big,
feelings on the
big
holidays
feelings. So,
that they can't manage.
Gosh.
it's not always just about happy traditions and
If you're looking for
Burglar
happy
might
Christmas
come after
traditions,
you.
this is the wrong show.
This is not it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So anyway,
okay.
those are our
I mean,
stories.
honestly, if you look at it, if you think about it, Santa Claus is breaking and entering into your house. Like he is.
That's true. It is a
He is a
story
burglar.
of a man that burgles people's homes.
Right. He's
And we
trying to get
celebrate
in
it.
any way he can. Oh, the chimney's open. I'll go that way. And
Yeah. I mean,
I just like
again,
someone to sneak in and clean my house for me. That's all I want. Just leave the floors mopped.
yeah, Santa would be scary too. Like, I don't know. I never growing up wanted to sit on Santa's lap and take a picture. He was scary to me.
I never did that. I'm really glad.
Randy, did you ever do that?
Yes, I was such an obedient little girl. I did anything they told me. I couldn't tell you if I was really happy about it or not. I just knew I was expected to do that and smile for the picture, so I did.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I never wanted to sit on Santa's lap or tell him my
Did you cry?
Christmas.
Do you have crying
That's that
pictures of
scene-
Santa? Of
That's
you
that
and
scene
Santa?
in
my
A Christmas
parents,
Story.
my
If you
parents
guys
are
have ever
Korean.
watched
They
it.
didn't care.
Ah.
My parents didn't push me to do anything. They would have been like, ew, sit on Santa's
That's
lap.
the-
No.
That's a scene in A Christmas Story where he's sitting on Santa's lap and the guy's really scary and he's like, ho, ho, ho. And he like puts his foot on his face and like shoves him down the slide. That whole thing is terrifying. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Have you ever seen it? A
I
Christmas
don't know
Story?
this. Remember I told you
Oh, a
last week I never
movie?
saw
Oh, that's
it.
right. You haven't seen it. Okay. You need to see it.
Yeah.
He
Randy,
goes
have
with
you
his
ever
little
seen
brother to sit on this. No, I guess she hasn't because she didn't know either. But
Is it a
sit
movie?
on Santa's lap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a movie, I haven't seen it. I don't have the patience to sit through movies typically.
Yeah,
Just get the
movie.
Cliff Notes
In fact,
version.
I've sat through it in 24-hour marathons. Like I've had it on for 24 because they play it over and over and over again on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
24 hours. in a
No,
row.
I'm going to be watching A Christmas Carol. Like I said last week, I'll be watching it
Yeah.
probably Christmas Eve. And again, when I was little, that scared me. Marley, I guess the best
is
friend
scary.
Marley, he scared
Bob
me.
Marley.
But now I'm older, so I can handle it.
I
So
only know the one
Uh,
where the kid gets his tongue stuck to the pole. What's that?
That's A Christmas Story.
Is that it? Oh, maybe I have
Yeah.
seen it then. I only remember parts of it because I can't stay tuned in for the whole movie. Is that where he shoots his eye
I love
out?
that part. Yes.
See?
Yes. You'll shoot your eye
And this
out.
is a Christmas
Contributing
movie?
a little bit.
Then
It's a Christmas movie.
going on?
It's right up your alley, Rachel.
Okay. All right.
Oh.
Well,
No, like,
let's
I've watched the Muppets version of A Christmas Carol, and that's about up my street. So I haven't
What
watched
characters were
like
what?
I said, I watched the Mickey version, but he kind of scared me
who was
growing up.
what? Kermit was
Herbert wasn't Scrooge.
Cratchit, Bob Cratchit.
Oh,
and
makes sense.
I can't remember who Scrooge was. Oh, that's sad. It was a long time ago.
I'm digging deep in the vault. For
And I-
this.
Little frog Robin was Tiny Tim. Do you remember Robin the Frog?
Is that
He was-
Lisa?
Yeah.
Or whatever he says.
No, that's Oliver Twist. No, isn't that Oliver?
I don't know.
Yeah. Tiny Tim says, "God bless us, everyone."
I'm getting them mixed up, all the old shows.
Tiny Tim had the
The crutch,
The
the
bum
wooden
leg,
leg,
right?
no?
He had a bum leg.
The wooden
crutch,
leg?
he had crutches. Yeah, it wasn't a
Oh, he
wooden
didn't
leg,
have
but it
wooden
was
leg.
like
He had
like
crutches.
polio.
Wooden leg.
I don't know, some childhood disease that made him cripple. He was a cripple. That was the term.
So
Candy able.
By the
What do we say
way,
now? What do we say now?
How do we end this?
I'm going to tell you guys real quick. If you guys read The Lost Hearts from M.R. James, again, it was written in the 1800s. I was reading the short story when they were talking about the scratches on the door. Mrs. Bunch was saying, I mean, my dogs and cats can't reach that. It's like my mom said, no Chinaman can reach that either. Or like a Chinaman's nails. That's what she said. Something about a Chinaman's nails. And I was like,
dang.
oh, what
We
does
don't
that
say
even
that
mean?
anymore.
I don't even know what that means. So,
Do men from China have exceptionally long nails?
no clue. So, anyways, people, if you
Get some
read this
tips from
short
'em.
story, just know there's going to be
Defense against
phrases that
Whitey.
you're
They
just
had
kind
to
of
like
like,
have it.
yeah. But I might actually look up the movies. I might want to get some creepy ghost story movies now.
Yeah, you enjoy.
Make it a thing. I'll tell you guys all about
Randy
it.
and I are gonna
Tell you
hang
all
out with
the
Krampus.
Let's watch Krampus. We should watch Krampus. Everyone, if
Okay.
you've seen Krampus, I've never watched it. I'm actually too scared. But if you've seen Krampus or know any scary movies for Christmas, let us know.
Die Hard.
Write it in the
If there's
comments.
a Perchta, if there's a Frau Perchta movie, tell me, because she's my girl.
Randy, I think maybe for Halloween next
Costuming
year,
for that
this
alone.
could be our
is gonna be-
costume. Frau Perchta.
Let's discuss.
All right. Sorry, everybody.
Anyway, Merry
listening.
Christmas, everybody.
We're a bit of a wonderful mess here. Wait a minute. When am I posting this episode? Is it going to be on Christmas?
Christmas?
No, it's going to be the 21st this week. So it's right
Okay.
before Christmas. You guys enjoy. Happy
Merry Christmas.
Merry
God
Christmas.
bless
Merry
us,
Christmas.
everyone.
And we'll see you guys next week.